Hello, good morning and good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to this week's live chat where we talk about going live and all the things involved in going live. A lot of places just talk about the technical. Some places just talk about the content. We talk about all of the things, including the sort of the mental game that is also going live. So what goes on behind the scenes, what goes on behind the mask. So if you've got any live streaming or YouTube related questions, please drop them in the chat and we'll try and hit them. I don't pretend to know everything about YouTube or live streaming, but I'm pretty good at helping you find your answer. If I don't know it, I may know some place for you to look to find your answers. So I consider me a resource. So it is Monday morning here in Australia, and it's cold. It's cold this morning. We had a really mild weekend, and I thought, oh, winter is over. Yay! No, it's not. It's not. I've had to have the heater on this morning, and I have learnt through some trial and error over on my other channel that I cannot actually have the heater on in this room and my camera on at the same time. They don't like to play together, so I have to turn the heater off whenever I have the camera on, which is not awesome. I do have a blanket. I do have some under table warmie happening, so that is good. That is good. So first cab off the rank was Livestream Consultants. Good afternoon. It's great to see you. We do have a little bit of techno intro music. Absolutely. Bring on Creator Mix at every possible turn of the dice. Absolutely. Dimmy Hart, so good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about YouTube for community, because it's really easy to go, okay, let's, or not even just YouTube for community, but live streaming for community as well. And it's really easy to go, okay, yeah, I want to go live to, for whatever reasons I want to go live, okay? And that's great. That's you need that too. You need to be able to sort of justify why you're going live. But it is when it means something to the audience that you're going live as well. It's not just about you, it's about them too. So and the best way for your audience to know that you going live is not just about you and it's also about them is to actually respond to their comments. Now, I know that some live streams, the comments just move so crazy wicked fast that there is no way you can catch all of them. But you know what? You can catch a couple. It doesn't matter how fast it's moving, you can catch a couple. So you can totally grab some comments. So Doug Hewson is here. Great to see you. What is that? What are you wearing? Are you a little wizard there? Doug the Wizard? I'm not quite sure what that emoji is. My glasses aren't strong enough this morning. Good morning, amazing yacht destinations. Great to see you. Home Rapid Repair says, the resource channel term. When I was very new, someone called me that and I felt like it was an insult. Now I understand the concept more. Yeah, I can understand why if you are new, you might consider it an insult, but I actually love being considered a resource. Sorry, my channel is a resource. I love that my channel is a resource. It is a go-to place where people can get the information that they need. I'm okay with that. So, I'm so okay with that because and I think it depends on a person as an individual. I am absolutely that person that wants people to succeed. I want everyone around me to succeed. I'm not in a scarcity mindset. I don't think that you succeeding means I can't succeed. I don't think that at all. And so I think that if we all succeed together, that it's better, but not everybody does think the same way. So, and I don't know if it's right or wrong either. That's just how I think. Let me have a look. The chat is moving. Lots of people chatting with each other. I love it. And Doug's got no idea why he shared a wizard or whatever it was. Good job. Morning. Jerry Popandrea has joined us. Hello, Jerry. So good to see you. Oh, your eyes are still kicking in. So am mine. So am I. I had like everything all set up, and I was well, not quite everything, because I had the heater on. I didn't bother turning I didn't bother turning the camera on, and so I was like 10 minutes before the stream. I've turned the heater off, turned the camera on. Camera didn't work, and I was just like, wait, what? And I'm like, I've tried it, I've turned it off and I've turned it back on again because maybe I'd left it on all weekend because that's totally happened before. Yeah, it was not coming on. I had to do like a full reboot of everything, turn the camera off, turn the computer off, everything. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like 5 minutes before the stream and I'm still like need drinks and stuff like that. Because I was just sitting here writing notes and, you know, like chill, so not chill all of a sudden. Camera's working now, so that's cool. Had to do the full reboot. So, I mean, I did run an Ecamm live update, so it could have been that. You should always do a reboot after an update, Chantelle. So, yeah, it was my own fault. I should have totally checked it because I do get the camera for a few minutes before it turns itself off. So I could have double checked it and turned it back off again, but I didn't. So it's all good now. It's all good now. Let's have a look here. Oh yeah, it was Jerry's birthday over the weekend. Happy birthday to you, Jerry. I hope you had a really good one. Travel Around Susie's in the chat. It's good to see you. The last minute. Oh my God. Yes, that last minute of like, yeah, totally freaking out, thinking, oh, what am I going to do? I've got a webcam here and I was just going to flip it around and put it there. And I was just like, and then it just worked. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Thank you. Calm down. And then I'm like, oh, I have to click the go live. I also checked my tea, so it is not at burning mouth stage. It's not at burning. Jerry, you're right. I could have gone live with my phone. I could have, but I was scheduled through Ecamm. Actually, because I was scheduled through Ecamm, I probably could have connected my phone to that. I don't know if it works backwards the other way, because I know if I schedule through YouTube, I can still connect it to Ecamm. But if it's scheduled through YouTube, can I connect? I don't know. I've never tried. I should possibly try that. But anyway. Michael Sahovsky, thank you. I appreciate those virtual hugs. It was definitely a morning of heart in the throat. Oh, of course, I understand what you mean. I have the Louis camera. I could have totally just grabbed that and just thrown it up there. It's already connected, just in case Louis comes in. But I have shut the door because my husband's working from home today, and all the pets are like going psycho. I don't know why. They just are. You are only 38 subscribers short of being able to receive super chats. Dimmy, you are right. I am only very, very, very shyly short of the subscriber goal, but I am still quite a ways off from that 3,000 watch hours. But I do appreciate you pointing that out. But that's okay because I've got Buy Me a Coffee. We don't have to wait for YouTube. Like we really don't. Like having the super chats is awesome, and I can't wait until I've got that ability, right? Just because I like to tick the box. I'm like, yes, done. Boop. I also love that it would mean that everything was integrated. You know, we could see the super chats from here, and there'd be the little bullet at the top, and you know, I do love that idea. But one thing I will say is YouTube take 30%, Buy Me a Coffee take 5%. So, Buy Me a Coffee pay within a couple of days, YouTube takes a month. There's a couple advantages. Let's have a look here. Are you using StreamYard and are you using dark mode if it is available already? I am currently on a Ecamm kick right now just because I'm really liking the clarity of the image that it sends out. If I had a guest, I would be trying StreamYard for sure. And I don't think dark mode kicks until the 15th of July, so I haven't tested out the dark mode yet. A lot of those announcements that they put out, they weren't rolling out until the middle of July. Like none of them were. So I think it was a little, I don't know, what's the word? I think if you're going to make an announcement, like, because they announced the dark mode weeks before their live stream, and then the live stream happened, and then it's not even rolling. Oh, we are in August, or nearly in August. Is it August 15? Look, do you know what? I'm just gonna open StreamYard. Just bear with. Was it July 15 or August 15? And it's not August yet. You're right. It's nearly August though. August is a really big month for me because I have my Fiberific annual retreat that I run. And then I have my birthday and then I go to VidSummit. Oh my gosh. All in August. All right. Where am I going? StreamYard. Let me just have a quick squiz on the back end here and just see if I can choose dark mode. I'm just going to enter a test room. Hopefully we don't crash the computer while we do this. Enter the studio. I don't see a way. Let me just look. I can't see where to switch to dark mode at this stage. I'll just kill that just in case I trash my stream. I'll definitely have a bit more of a look into it, but from that brief cursory glance, I could not see a toggle to change over to dark mode just yet. But I haven't been in there a lot, and so you know, I should probably go back in and check some stuff in there. You're right. Let's have a look here. Captain Crush, great to see you. Great to see you. Yeah, I think we're still waiting to see how Doug goes. We've got to wait for all the money to actually hit his bank account. We don't count our chickens before they're hatched. And that's one of the reasons why with Doug, like with getting some money over to Doug, we were using the Buy Me a Coffee because the YouTube super chats weren't going to make it in time for him to make a booking. So, which is why we were going with the Buy Me a Coffees. Let's have a look here. Otherwise, you're just counting eggs. Exactly right. Exactly right. Good morning, Leanne. Great to see you. Thanks for jumping in. Travel Around Susie says that she was in StreamYard and on Thursday, and at that stage it still didn't have the dark mode yet. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think with StreamYard now, like they used to do like their Sunday night live streams, and then it was usually live within like whatever they announced. Oh, sorry, there you go. Whatever they announced, they had implemented within about a week or so, usually. And they didn't announce that it was coming until it was available. Whereas now, is my Buy Me? I thought my Buy Me a Coffee was on. Did you buy me a coffee, Amazing Yacht Destinations, and I don't know about it? Let me just solve this because where am I going? Twitter is always the best place, the easiest place to see it. You guys. Wow. I thought I tested my Buy Me a Coffee and it was working this morning, and I don't know why it's not there now. Oh, I know why. For some reason, there's a second camera overlay. How do I kill that? Let me fix this. I don't know what's going on here. What is this? All right, so that's why the Buy Me a Coffee overlay wasn't working. There was a second camera over the top of it. I don't know what's going on here. Alrighty, so that's the cam link. That is not zooming in. That's not fixing anything. That is, I've got something locked here and I don't know what it is. No, that's not it. Where's the frame for this guy? What have I done? Alrighty, I think I know what I've done here. I've got the camera chosen rather than a blank background. All right. Well, I heard something then. That is definitely, I gotta fix this. But okay, so first things first, Dimmy Hard, thank you so much for 5 coffees. Coffee is awesome. I 100% agree with you. I gotta fix this screen, but I want to do these first before I forget. Amazing Yacht Destination sent me 3 coffees saying, thank you for starting my week in the right way. Thank you for pinning the buy me a coffee. I did remember. And Larry sent through saying Larry likes live streams. I don't think I'd be able to save that a lot and very fast. So yeah, that's awesome. You guys are champions, but it's still not bringing it up on screen, is it? All right, let me just, I don't know what I've done here. I've done something wrong and I need to fix it. So, it is going to drive me insane. So let me just, I need to, oh, no, we don't want that. I would like it to be, okay, I'm just going to duplicate, go to copy, camera 4K, there we go. We're just going to use this one. I don't know what I've done wrong. Michael Sahovsky says, how do I add BMAC fees to send you an even amount? Michael, I don't think you can, but I do appreciate your heart there. So yeah, I'm just double checking that changing this, I haven't screwed up any audio or anything. All right. The buy me a coffee thing should be working. I don't know if it is or if it isn't. Actually, I can send a test. Send a test. Yes, I'm a human. Thanks, buy me a coffee for making me feel like maybe I'm not. Okay, stream alerts. Send a test. It worked this morning. Let's try again. I don't know why it's not working. All right, I'm just going to have to keep an eye on everything and look at it manually because I don't know why that's not working now. It was totally working. If it were up to me, I'd buy you a box of Joe. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know. Look, I don't know how to fix all this on the fly. I don't know. I don't know why it's not working. It's right at the top of everything. It should be working. It's just not. I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. All right. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. There we go. Just refresh to make sure I'm not missing anything. Doug sent me a coffee. Thank you, Doug. Testing the overlays. The overlays aren't working. I don't know what it is. Because I was like, I need to go in and change the overlay so that it's my buy me a coffee alert instead of Doug's. And so I went and did that. And when I tested it, it all worked. And I don't know what I've done since. Well, actually, I do know. I rebooted everything. Oh, goodness me. All right. It's cool. It's cool. We don't have a buy me a coffee alert today, but I have my phone. So, and you guys have all been amazing. So let's just plow on and not get sidetracked. This is what happens sometimes with live streaming. Sometimes live just happens and it does get sidetracked and the technology doesn't do what we want. Open and resave the widget, you reckon? All right, I'm going to give it a try. Customize, copy URL, open the widget. Oh, wait, there's a second. There was a drop down there. I didn't see what that drop down did. Let me just edit the widget. What is the drop down? Alrighty, now paste and save. All right, I've edited the widget. Let me see if I can send a test. Nope, test didn't work. Where is the widget? That's a good question, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Good call. Good call.
Yes, it's coffee time. Coffee, 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 coffee. Cappuccino. Java. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to add a border just so I can find the dang thing. All right, that's the problem. It's not on the screen anywhere. Alrighty, let's go into here and duplicate that one. No, bin that. Sorry, it just jumped to the next one. I'm going to go here and duplicate this one. So this is a scene from another thingy. There we go. So we'll go there. Now let's test. No. Is it set as visible? It should be, but I will check it. Edit widget. I don't know what I've done. I've messed up my layers is what's happened. And it's just not appearing at all. So good morning to everybody joining the stream. SMA Sky, great to see you. Anfield Road Layout in the Loft, so good to see you as well. Paris Tube, great to see you. Great to see you all. I'm just having some problems with my overlays today, and now I've done something. I don't know what I've done. What it is I do normally set up a layer without a camera background, just as a blank background. But for some reason it's now the camera is the background. So I don't know why it's doing that. So I really do have to create a fresh thing. So I'm not quite sure what I've done. It's all good, but it doesn't matter. It's not going to really change anything other than I'm not going to be able to show actually there's one here. I should be able to, let's see. We'll run our supporters for today. We haven't run that for a while. So there we go. That's working. So live streaming consultants is a cold brew level supporter. Espresso levels are Doug and Amazing Destinations. These guys have all gone over to buy me a coffee and joined my membership over there. So each month they throw coffee my way, and I really very much appreciate that. So I mean, that worked. That overlay works, and I don't know why the buy me a coffee overlay doesn't work, but okay. So the important ones are working. That's all that matters. All the important ones work. And I'll just keep an eye on my phone, and we won't get the little blip, but I'll just try to, but not that, Monday strikes again. Monday strikes again. And you know what? I tested it. Before the live stream, I tested it. Everything was working. And then I did a reboot 2 minutes before the live stream because I couldn't get the camera to work. But the overlays were all working. So yeah, anyway, this is what happens sometimes during a live stream. So I want to say a huge thank you to all of you in the chat for being amazing and awesome and encouraging, trying to help me to solve this and just to get it sorted. But we're just going to move on. We're just going to move on. So those of you, if you do buy me a coffee, maybe drop me a message in the chat so that I know to double check, because, and I know we like the surprise of like bloop, but it's not going to work today and I don't know why. So I've obviously done something wrong, because it did work and then it stopped. So I'll have to have a look into it. But yeah. Enfield says it's late here in the UK. It's 12:24. Have a good stream. Thanks so much. And I appreciate you jumping in, even though it's crazy late for you. Oh, that's right. It is Monday here. It is Monday morning here. We're heading into 9:30 Monday time here in the morning. SMA says it's still Sunday here and the sun will be going down soon. How crazy is that? Do you know, one of the things I absolutely love is it doesn't matter where we are in the world. We're all part of this community here. We're all chatting and conversing, and yep, it is really late if you're in the UK, and I do appreciate you jumping in. And then it's Sunday for half of you. It is Monday for the other half. It is just, this is one of the great, amazing things about live streaming, is that we can all still talk to each other. We can all still chat to each other. We can all still become friends. We can all support each other, even though it's crazy o'clock where you are. Dimmy, yeah, I agree. And I have moved my overlay to the very top of the pile, but I don't understand why it's not working. I could probably just create a new buy me a coffee overlay and it'd probably work. You know what? I might just do that. I might just create a new one. Add a widget overlay. There we go. Let's see. We have to make it a bit bigger because it's tiny. We'll bring it down here. You know, Dimmy, I probably should have just done this from the start, just create a new one. Let me just see if it works. There we go. Look at that. That was just a test run. It's amazing how if you just make it work and it works. Isn't that bizarre? Isn't that weird? It works now. So thank you everybody I should have just made a new one. I should have just gone in and gone, why did that not work? So yeah, but thank you, because I was like, oh, it's at the top of the overlays. Why isn't it working? But yeah, I don't know. Indeed, I found a niche. Esme Sky saying I found a channel in my niche that's in Tenerife in Spain, in the Canary Islands, I think, and just found another in Poland. And that's the thing. You don't have to be you don't have to be in the same country and in the same to enjoy what someone's making. You really don't. I try to use Google Translate so I can join in the conversations. I actually use Google Translate when I'm moderating some live chats, because sometimes people will comment in their own language, and I've just got to double check that they were being nice, because I don't speak a lot of languages. Chris, a little USD to go towards a Windows PC for OBS to run on. Thank you, Chris. OBS runs on Mac. I've got it. It's one of the ones I test out. I actually ran OBS for a really long time before I, funnily enough, upgraded. Dimmy bought 5 more coffees. Dimmy, thank you so much. You guys are just amazing. It's definitely working now, isn't it? It's definitely working. Thank you both for testing to make sure it was working. Aline Smith, it's so good to see. Did you work out what was going on with that StreamYard browser extension? I had no idea there was a StreamYard browser extension. I was looking at that thinking, huh? What? Amazing yacht destination. Testing and sorry for the derail. It is so good. It's totally fine. This is why we're here, right? You guys need to know that we all screw it up. Not everything works perfectly, and just because it worked last week doesn't mean it's going to work this week, So thank you so much. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things. And I think I've worked out what it was. For some reason, it wasn't show in current scene. Oh my gosh, Larry thinks it's working again. Thanks, Larry. Yeah, I do think it's working again. Although I'm looking at the color and it's blending into the background. I'm like, I want to fix that and change that. And I'm like, do I do it now? Do I just go in and change it and just make it stand out? I think I will. There we go. It's going to show up as a different color, hopefully. But anyway, Home Rapid Repairs saying, my wife was having a bad evening during the Olympic opening ceremonies, and I told her it's international cooperation, cheer up. Yeah, I was like, oh, do I stay up for it? No, I'm not going to. I'm just going to watch the reruns the next day in the news, because I was like, oh, it's so late for us here. It's just so late. And so,
Yes, it's coffee time. Coffee, 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 coffee. Cappuccino. Java. Yes!
thank you, Livestream Consultants. You're right. I should hit the jingle every time. And I'm like, not there. I'm not there. What I need to do is I need to upload that into the stream alerts, because it can play a sound. So, I should do that. And test that out. I really should. I'm not going to right now, but I should do that. Let me have a look here. Aline Smith says, I guess I'm the only OG that was using the Chrome extension. Probably don't need it anymore. I didn't even know it existed. I had no idea it was a thing, which probably is why they're sunsetting it. You definitely try that. Yeah, I think so. Because like when you go into the customize screen, there is an alert sound that you can choose, and it's just like a little bloop. But I can upload my own audio, so I definitely will need to dig out where I saved the audio file and drop that up there. So, but yeah, it's see, this is one of the things, right? Like I'm sitting here trying to have a conversation about YouTube for community, and you guys are proving the point for me, like left, right, and center. You're here, you're chatting to each other, you're helping me through a troubleshooting mess. It's just everything is just, you're proving the point that building an amazing community, which I don't build the community, you build the community. So, you know, it's one of those things where if you get involved and you chat and you talk, I can create a safe place for it to happen. I can encourage conversation, ask questions, create polls, do all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, if you don't feel comfortable enough to converse with each other, then it's not really going to happen, no matter how hard I try to push. So I just think you guys are just wonderful for jumping in and asking questions and helping me out when I'm like, what am I doing here? Because, you know, there are days, and it seems today is one of those days. I know I've got it. I've just got to work out where I saved it. I always save things in two places. So I've just got to double check where I saved it. Because I've got it in the Stream Deck, not in the Stream Deck. What am I saying? I've got it in the Rodecaster. So I've definitely got it somewhere. And that's right. I am part of the community. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, but you guys, like without you guys, there is no community. It's just me sitting here with my cup of tea talking into the ether. So my tea is still hot, but it's not burned my tongue off hot, which is great because that really hurt. That really hurt last time. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to point out was that online connection can be a lot harder than IRL. And now this is going to be really dependent of the kind of person that you are, how you cope with IRL, and go out and actually human. And that, depending on your personality, that could be harder. But creating an actual connection with somebody, like actually chatting with Michael here, because he's joined in and he's asking questions and is making very nice comments. And so, you know, that can be harder for some people to create that actual connection between the person in the screen and the person in the seat. So it's totally doable. As you can see, we're doing it and you're doing it. We're all doing it. But it is trickier than like when you sit down next to a person and start talking to them, because when you actually do that, there's nearly like it's there is near, they can't just hit skip. Is really what I'm trying to say. They can't just hit skip. They have to actually beg off and leave, which is probably not an awesome feeling. And it's probably easier if they just don't show up in a live stream or their little eye pops up and then disappears. That's less disheartening than if somebody just got up from the table and walked away. But yeah, it's can be harder to create a connection. But if you don't try, it's never going to happen. So my point being, if I ever had one, was that if we don't try live streaming, if we don't try to connect with each other, it's absolutely not going to happen. And you know, it is work. It's not super easy. It's not just like hit go live and 500 people show up to your live stream. That's not how it works. It's a slow burn. It's a slow build. So you just have to just keep going. Like I've got a friend who's got a channel with over 1.5 million people on his channel. And when he runs a live stream, he's lucky if 50 people show up. And, you know, and then by the end of the stream, maybe 100. And it's not that he has unengaged subscribers. It's just he doesn't live stream very often. And so they weren't expecting it. And then they're not used to it. Whereas you here who've joined in, and you've joined into these chats here, you expect it because I schedule these. This is the same bat time, same bat station every single week. And that is another thing I wanted to point out, and it's on my list here as well, is if you are going to live stream and you want to do it regularly, not just a once off or a special occasion, they're always different. But if you want to live stream and if you want to do it every week, if you make it so that even if you're a bit late with getting your schedule set up, me this morning, then you all knew that I was still going live at 7 p.m. Eastern on Sunday night, because that's what time I go live. Unless I'm sick or traveling or something like that, then that's when I'm live. And I don't change the times. I don't mess around with the days. This was a test originally, and it's kind of built and grown, and it works for me. And sometimes you have to make that decision. Does it work for you enough and your audience enough? Because especially with international audiences, we're never going to have that perfect sweet spot time, because it's always going to be like a different time for me versus a different time for you. So keeping that in mind as well. And I know that, you know, our UK friends, it's very late for them. And it was kind of like a decision that I had to sort of, it's a compromise I had to make. Let's have a look here. Time to break out the cowbell. Yeah. Let me sing. You are the ringmaster of this circus. Yeah, I mean, I can't blame anyone else for that, right? No. Michael says, excuse me, lady, you're the reason behind the awesome community. Your idea equals awesome community. You guys make the community awesome. Hey, Captain Crush, I'm doing okay. Had a little too much Ventolin this morning. I forgot I'd already had some and then had some more. So I'm a little shaky, but I'm all good. Let's have a look here. IRL is harder than online. I'm very shy IRL. I found that another streamer had a Discord after party stream, and there I almost never speak. Yeah, I went to a Discord after party stream many years ago, and it was just it was sort of like a private group. Only a few people got given the invite. And I was sitting there very quietly, and then someone, we had to go around and introduce ourselves, and I was the only Australian, and then that was it. It was just like, oh my God, say this. And yeah, it was very fun. It was very funny. We had a little laughing. But yeah, I was very quiet until I kind of got called out. So yeah. Let's have a look here. The community is gathering in the local town square. In this community, you're the mayor or the Aussie. We have mayors. SMA Sky, I agree with you. Consistency is key. And this is like all across every aspect of our YouTube and business lives. If you are inconsistent, you will get inconsistent results. Whereas if you are consistent, it may not be consistently high to start with, but it will be consistent. So just slowly build, look at your analytics, look at the interactions that you're having, because sometimes the analytics don't say it all. Like, you know, I'll look at the live stream analytics after this stream and it'll be like, okay, yeah, there was 10 people or 10 people thumbsed up, and hang on, I've just got to change over here. And 11 people were watching concurrently. And that sounds low. Like when you think about it, it does sound kind of low. But when you look past those numbers, we're having an amazing conversation. And I don't know about you, but I actually find an amazing conversation is more important than the numbers of people having that conversation. Does that make any sense? Like let me know in the chat. Does that make sense to you? Do you prefer to have a great conversation with a fewer number of people than a meaningless conversation, or less meaningful, maybe not meaningless, less meaningful conversation with a huge number of people? Which one to you sounds like success? Because that's a really important thing, is success looks differently to everybody. And that's something I actually learned from Gary Vaynerchuk, of all people, which he was, someone, you know, was like asking him, you know, when did he realize he was successful? So, you know, it's just one of those things. And he was just like, 80,000 a year might be successful to somebody because it gives them more freedom and more time to do the actual stuff they want to do. Whereas somebody else might not consider themselves successful till they hit $1 million a year, you know, like they were talking incomes in this particular conversation. But they're poles apart. These two numbers are both correct because it depended on what success looks like for the individual. For me, a great conversation is the successful point. Let's have a look here. The new live stream consultant says the nuances and subtle in-person visual cues are a thing that being live by yourself on social media can be a challenge for some. For some, it comes second nature. You're right. This is very true. I'm definitely a person that I prefer to see someone when I'm talking to them, because I read body language. It's how I know if somebody is comfortable, how I know if I'm being lied to, how I know if someone else is uncomfortable, you know, like that's how I tell, is by reading body language. And people can hide things in their voice when they're talking, when it's just over voice. They can be pulling faces, they could be doing all sorts of things. You don't know. You don't know. But when you are talking to somebody and you are looking in their face, whether it's on a video call or whether it is in real life, you can see it. You can see exactly what's going on. And I actually find that when I'm on voice calls with people, I always feel a little uncomfortable because I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. I definitely prefer cameras on. Now, I know not everybody feels that way, and not everybody reads people the same way I do. I'm one of these, it's a gift and a curse, but I can talk to somebody and I will get a feeling about them fairly quickly, and it's usually right. It's not always right, it's usually right. And I have saved myself from some really dodgy situations by trusting my instincts. And so I trust my instincts. They're not always right, but I do trust them. So I've gotten out of situations, left places, where it ended up turning into an absolute nightmare. And, you know, it's just, I've learned to trust my own instincts when it comes to sort of what I feel about different people. And so, I need to be able to see them to do that. So that's probably why I love live streaming so much. I can see someone, I can see if they're genuine or not. And sure, people act. They do. Some people act, but you can usually see through the actors as well. Let's have a look here. People that watch live streams are a very small subset of all the viewers on a platform. I'm often surprised of this as well. Oh, absolutely. Some people hate watching live streams, and some people double hate watching a live stream replay. So yeah, and this is why it's really important to do what you can do. Like for me, I prefer live streaming. I love live streaming. And I know that by not uploading regularly, it is actually in detriment to my channel. I know that you went off. Why did you go off? I don't understand why it went off. Okay. Oh, it's flashing. Hang on. Let me have a look here. We'll see if it just stays on. If it flashes again, I'll turn it off. Nope, there it goes. I don't know what's going on. Am I rolling over a power cord? All right, just give me a second and I will just fix that. Okay, I've no idea why that's flashing. It's on mains power. It's on mains power. It shouldn't be flashing. It's on the same mains power as this one. Oh gosh. Yeah, what if you two don't blink? I know, right? All right, let's keep going. Here we go. Travel Around, Susie says, I've started being consistent for the last 4 months. And I've started getting a good community coming to my live. I like it being small because great conversation is good. I agree with you. I love a good conversation. Now, you know, it's not to say that I wouldn't say no to a few more people popping in, but I do love that if when you put in a comment, you're pretty sure I'm going to hit it. Like, you're pretty sure. So, you know, and I do like that. I do like that. Amazing Yacht Destination says, I've been watching large and small, and I particularly enjoy watching smaller streamers as they actually respond to questions and react to comments where bigger streamers mostly get ignored. Yeah, and look, you know, the reality is when you've got a large audience, like say there's 500 people in here, right? That chat's going to be rolling. It's going to be moving a bit too quickly. And on our screens, they do roll. They do constantly roll. So I remember I jumped into a Philip DeFranco chat one day and it was moving so fast. It was just whirring. Like I couldn't read anything. I actually literally had to click and stop the chat to be able to see a comment. And so, you know, and I understand that that does happen. And in those instances, you want to make sure that you've got good moderators because people will be just putting things, I'm just like nervous now. People will be putting things down that may or may not be appropriate or acceptable. And if you've got your chat appearing on screen, like if you're one of those people that like to have the whole chat running down the side, I'm not one of those people. It could be, you could be showing something that's inappropriate. And while it may move quickly, it's still there. It's still visible. And so I don't like those either. But I get that, you know, your audience grows and things happen. So that's when you get more mods. And the advantage is that sometimes, depending on how big you and your team are, if you've got a stream that's that big, there's a good chance you're not streaming 100% by yourself. There's usually somebody physically around you or somebody virtually around you who could be pinning comments for you, grabbing, cutting and pasting a comment for you to respond to some way. Linus Tech Tips has a way that he makes it so they get comments. So rather than accepting super chats or reading out super chats, they read out merch messages. I can't even say it. Merch messages. So when somebody buys something from their store, you've got the option to add in a merch message while it's live or ask a question. And so they've worked out a method, a way to do it. And they don't really keep an eye on the chat, but they make that really clear at the start. They set the expectation. Whereas when you're smaller, keep a little eye on the chat, answer the questions. And if you are going to be repurposing your stream, if you're one of those people that just like to repurpose the streams and go from there, then make it really clear. Pause every now and again. Let everybody know that's what you're doing. Because just saying it right at the start doesn't always help. People come in part the way through. YouTube don't always send out notifications. Somebody might just stumble upon your stream. You're going to have to mention it more than once. So when you're repurposing, you're going to need to go in and cut little bits extra out because you need to let people know this is the deal. You can't just say it right at the start and go, hey, you know, have a little chat with everybody at the start. Now I'm going to do this thing and then run through it all the way through. If it's a half an hour long prezzo, somebody could jump in at 5 minutes after you've started and be like, what's going on? You know, and hopefully your community will let them know, hey, they'll grab some questions at the end. But having like little sections of time where you'll pause it and ask a question, you may end up being asked the perfect question that matches your presentation perfectly. Are you going to ignore that just because it's not part of the presentation? I don't know. I don't. But then I'm a rambler. So it depends on what you want. It depends on what you're going to be providing and giving your community as their payment for watching, for sitting through the ramble. Instincts are great. Yeah, I definitely try to trust my instincts. Yeah, that light, I have no idea. It's never been a problem before. Oh my gosh. Freaking out now. We're just freaking out. The light's flashing. Yeah. So, I mean, and this is true, but so, and using Nick and Dee as the example. So amazing. Live stream consultant says this is true, but once a stream gets to a certain number of people in the chat, it becomes difficult to respond to even a certain percentage of them. So Nick and Dee have got a plan set up. Me and Doug and the other mods, we go in and we try to answer everybody's questions as best we can. But they also have a form. So if you fill in the form, then you go and you have the opportunity to have your question answered. So, you know, and we share that form quite often throughout the stream, and Nick moves through it fairly quickly, mostly, some weeks less so than others. But he's worked out a way to be able to make it so that it just works. That he's got the mods who can answer the questions for those that drop them in the chat. And then for those that pop it in the form, he answers those questions. So that they've brought in a workflow that may or may not work for most of the audience. Well, I think it works for most of the audience, but you just have to be clear. People need to understand that this is what's going to be happening. I take questions from the live chat. That's what I do. And if our live chat here got a little bit chaotic, I would be coming some of you guys, especially those of you who've been here for a long time, asking if you'll consider being moderators. And then I would be adding a form in as well. I think that works really well. And I would still grab questions from the chat every now and again and, you know, just chat with people. But if it got out of hand or too busy, I would totally use a form for my questions, for sure. Let's keep scrolling. Live stream consultants, thank you. Just a reminder, hit that thumbs up before you leave today. Absolutely. Paris Tube, connection is a very important thing that we need. The lack of intimacy has created a lot of mental health issues. Social media is a big cause, and going live is a great remedy. And that's something really, like I just really want to reiterate that social media can be a huge cause of this, but those of us on social media can help solve the problem. I know that during all the lockdowns, there was a lot of people over in my yarn crafting community who were at home by themselves. They didn't have a partner. They lived alone, but they would usually go out and socialize a lot, and they were in lockdown by themselves, and they weren't allowed to go out. We started a Zoom call. I bought a Zoom thing so it could stay open all the time, and people could jump in and jump out and have conversations all day, every day if they wanted. But there was set times where those of us, like I would come in at 7 p.m. every night and sit, and I would have my craft, and we'd just chat and just talk about life and how we were coping or not coping. And now this group of people, it was quite large. It's shrunk down now, but we still meet up for Zooms twice a week. And it's because we've become such good friends, and some of us are real life friends now because some of us were local. So they, you know, and some of them, and creating the connection through a live video feed, it can make a huge difference. If somebody feels connected to you, you can make a difference to them. And a big part of social media is people feel like they're just not heard all of the time. Not heard. You can help someone feel heard. Obviously, we have to be cautious, we have to be careful, and we have to be mindful. But absolutely, we can make people feel heard and make people be heard, not just feel heard. So Love source record on OBS. You can have an overlay saying you're currently recording and will respond to comments and have a clean feed still. I believe we can do that in Ecamm as well. Are you being salty? Are you being salty, live stream consultants? Yeah, that's right. SMA Sky says, I know me and others attempt to answer the questions as well. Absolutely. Many of us have been around on the streams and we have an idea of how to answer it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Amazing Yacht Destination said, saw another solution where someone added a chat command where you ask questions and it's added to a separate list and he answers in order if it comes in. You don't need to go off platform. Yeah, there's actually in YouTube, there's actually a, I can set up a start Q&A. Here we go. Ask your questions here. There we go. So I've just done that. I've just clicked a start Q&A. So, and then people can ask their questions in that section. And so if you go now to the top, you'll have top chat, live chat, and questions. So you can jump into that section and ask your questions. So YouTube does that as a thing by itself now. And then I can actually click end. I can make an end that Q&A. So yeah, you can totally do that straight directly into YouTube. Within Ecamm, if you have a hashtag question, like if someone has to put in a question in Ecamm and you've just got hashtag Q for a question, you can actually in the search type hashtag Q and only things with that hashtag Q will show up and then you can bring it on. So I'm going to do that as well. So so if someone wants to use hashtag Q, so I can I can show that. I just tested the live Q&A, never used it before. Yeah. So let me jump over to that, the questions. Oh yes, I've seen this before. Wonder if this is in mine. I'll have to check it next time. Why don't people tell us about that? One of the things is that it's YouTube only. So I can't bring those questions on screen. Whereas if you used the hashtag Q right now, because at the moment I'm seeing no comments because I've got hashtag Q on my in my search panel here on Ecamm. So that unless it comes up as a hashtag Q, I don't get to see it at all. So I can remove that and just and kill that. And then everything's back in my comments area. And that's a really great way if your comments is super busy to actually have this available. So let me just go hashtag Q. So there we go. Travel Around Susie says hashtag Q. Do they have this for streaming? Do you mean for StreamYard? So in StreamYard, not so much. You've got the option to star comments. So you've got the option to star your comments and then bring in those starred ones. So if you've got a moderator or somebody, a co-host or something who is in the back end of your stream, they can be starring your questions for you and finding them that way. You've got those options. John Delancey is great. John Delancey is great. I saw him speak at an Australian Star Trek convention in the 90s. He was fantastic. So yeah, but what I'll do is I'll bring back all my things so I can see everyone's comments again. But yeah, it is there's options. There's things out there for you to use. You just kind of got to dig around for them. Live. Who was it that said that this needs to be? Someone. I thought I saw someone said that. Why aren't we told this? Maybe I need to make a video about it, but it is clunky. Like as Doug said, it's a clunky feature. And the services need to accommodate it for on-screen display. So, and that's right. So we've got our, like, I know where it was. It was in the questions section because it only shows up there. Why don't people tell us more about this? And Doug's right. It is clunky. It's absolutely clunky. And it's not integrated into StreamYard or OBS or any of that sort of, it's not integrated in any of them in that in this questions section. Whether that is YouTube haven't shared that information and to make it possible for people to utilize it, or whether or not the companies aren't utilizing it because they don't know if it's worth the effort to make it so people want it. There's a lot of reasons why it's not around. I am going to end the Q&A just so the chat's not splintered anymore. So I'll just go straight back to my live chat over here. But yeah, it's and the other thing is moderators need to know what's happening as well, so they can go in and make sure that they can deal with any questions that aren't appropriate as well. So, but yeah, there's a lot of options for being able to get the direct questions from a larger chat as well. And that's just one of many ways. There's a lot of different ways to be able to do that. You just need to work out what works for you, what works for your workflow, and what works for your team if you've got moderators or anything. And I think remembering that moderators are on your team, that you need to let them know when you change something or when something's going to happen. I did not let Doug know last week that the stream was going to be focused on, and that was intentional. I wanted it to be a surprise, but I did get asked later why I didn't bring Doug on. A friend of ours sent me a message like, why didn't you bring Doug on? And I was like, well, I didn't let him know it was happening, and B, he was getting ready for work. So I didn't think he would be available. It's a Monday morning. He's either having a late one and he's in his hoodie and pajamas or whatever, or, you know, you can't just put someone on the spot and expect him to jump onto a stream. I'd have to pre-warn him, and I didn't want to. That was the point. It was a surprise. But, you know, maybe we could have, I don't know, raised more if we had had Doug on. I don't think so. I think we did a great job personally. Yes, please make a video about this stuff. I'll add it to my list of things to discuss. He was using a streamer bot. And there's other options for bots. There's a lot of stream bots. I personally don't use streamer bots for much of anything. I like a human touch. I like human moderation. And in saying that, YouTube's got its own AI moderation working in the background. And I think sometimes it's a little bit too hardcore. YouTube have their own list of block words. We don't know what's on that list. And I understand why they don't make that list public. It's so that the evildoers can't work around it. I get it. But it'd be really nice to know why, like, because sometimes people will be trying to put in like a super chat over on a Chantelle mod, and it's not going through because they don't know why, and it turns out there's a word in there. They just changed the wording a little bit and it went through. So, you know, and some people, like we had one this week that for the life of us that their comments aren't showing up, none of them, and they were totally innocuous. They just created a new channel, and their comments started showing up, no problems. Exactly the same comments they were writing before. And they were not blocked. They were not hidden from Chantelle as far as we could see. And so sometimes YouTube just does some stuff. We just have to roll with it, right? We've just got to roll with it. I'm just having a little look at my list here of the things that I wanted to cover to make sure that we were talking about. Yeah, mods, this is true. This is absolutely true. SMA Sky's written here. Sometimes mods get the heat for that when messages don't appear. Yeah, and you're just like, dude, I never saw it. Yes, sometimes you'll get a held for a review, and a moderator will need to decide if that's shown or not. And it's a 50-50, depends on what they've written. But yeah, sometimes they just don't show up. And there's nothing we can do because we can't unhide something that we never hid because it never showed up. So yeah, you're right. Sometimes the mods do get the old heave ho on that one. But yeah, so one thing I want to talk about was some of the things that you can do. Like if you want to create some sort of value for your audience, which is what my goal is every week, is to create value for you. And sometimes I think, am I even going to go live today? Do I have enough to take an hour of someone's time? Am I giving enough to take an hour of their day? And that's how I think about it. Whether it's correct or not is a whole nother conversation, but that's how I think about it. Like, is is what I'm doing enough? And I think not enough people are thinking that. They feel like that they deserve people to show up no matter what they're doing in their streams. And so you have to be thinking of it like from a Doug Houston perspective, which is #value first. So always be trying to think of what it is that you're doing that gives someone value. Now, for some people, the value is a positive Monday morning message, an encouraging discussion about random whatever. And I get that now. I didn't. And you guys have let me know that sometimes that's just enough. That's enough. And so I continue on, even if I haven't come up with a topic, I continue on and just make it a Q&A session and just have a chat with you guys, because that is the value enough. And I'm always surprised by that. And SMA Sky's written here, sometimes the community chat is valuable. I would say 90% of the time, especially in a community like ours, where everyone's really encouraging of one another and supportive of one another. And you all have skills, like all of you have skills, and you're sharing those skills with each other. And that is absolutely valuable. 100% valuable. I agree with that. And remembering that it's not about you, like, and so that's the other side of that same coin. Am I giving value? Will I be live streaming and giving value? But remembering that it's not only the value that I'm giving, but that you're giving each other. So that's how you have to think about it. Now, there are some streams out there that there is zero value. You sort of look at it and you're wondering, why am I even here? The chat's a dumpster fire. There's people being mean to each other. The streamer doesn't give a crap. Or they're taking, I've seen streamers who are gleeful at other people just bouncing on people in the chat. And I don't like that. And so for me, that stream has no value. I'm off. But for the people in that stream, they find whatever that is valuable. And just because it's not something I enjoy doesn't mean that it's not valuable at all. There's just no value for me. So you need to be finding what is valuable to your desired audience. Who is your desired audience? And are you creating value for them? Or are you creating a deterrent by not, having a look at what's going on in your chat, or choosing and creating topics that they find interesting? Amazing Yacht Destinations, it says you and the community are extremely valuable. Absolutely. Absolutely. Live streaming says, live streaming is and always has been value added to your community, even when it's just a simple Q&A for the chat. Absolutely. And I think, because I work with a lot of different creators across the board, right? So when people are trying to very first start, so when they don't have an audience and they're trying to build their community from a zero audience situation, and they get disheartened because they think that if they go live, they're going to get tons of people in their chat. And so they're trying to find where to go live that gets 1 million people in their chat. And explaining that finding your audience, or finding your desired audience, is more important than finding any audience. So I find, for me personally, when I was live streaming vertically, the people that were coming into the chat were not my audience. They were, or not my desired audience. They were rude and or disinterested. And it messed with the stats a bit, and I didn't like that. And so I found that, especially while the vertical live streaming was new, it's not really where I want to focus my energy. And that doesn't mean that I'm not going to test it again down the track once people have gotten a bit more adjusted to it. So it's definitely one of these sort of test and trial and find where your audience is at. So if you are a shorts creator and your audience are always in the shorts feed, they don't jump onto homepage or anything like that, they're always in the shorts feed, try vertical live streaming. That may be the way to go, because it will appear in the shorts feed while you are live. Then after the live is over, it goes back over to desktop and will be in your feed that way. But it will hit your vertical audience of the shorts viewers. I don't have much in the way of shorts. Shorts has not been something I've really focused on. And in my brain, I don't consider shorts video. I consider shorts video is long form video, and that's the thing in my brain. So when I'm trying to help people and they're like, I uploaded 15 videos today and got no love, and I'm like, 15 videos, holy cow. And then it turns out it was 15 shorts, not 15 videos, and I'm still like, that's too many. Like, we were told to do as many as we can. It's like, that's like a week's worth of content, dude, even on shorts. So yeah, anyway, let's have a look at Doug's just with the random emojis today. Hashtag Australia, Doug. Let's go. Travel Around Susie has a question. So let me just have a cup of tea while that's on a sip of tea. How do you educate your community about Buy Me a Coffee without being salesy? I value people just showing up and talking to my live stream. Okay, so it's kind of funny. The initial joke was I was just getting people to test my Buy Me a Coffee button. There's no way, like, if you're going to feel salesy about telling people that it's there, you just need to have a think about your own heart. Are you trying to be salesy? For me, it's just like, it's there. Most people know where is it? There it is there. Most people know that little yellow cup is Buy Me a Coffee. I do have the pinned link in my comment. This channel is not eligible for any monetization on YouTube. And it does cost my time to run these live streams. So I try to create value for people. And if they feel like they're receiving value, they may just send me a coffee. And the guys here, those of you that sent me coffees earlier, that is just so awesome. And I don't expect it. Does that make any sense? So after I finish a stream, I'm always blown away because I don't expect it. It's not something that I expect or rely upon. But I am ever so grateful when it happens. But mentioning it without sounding salesy is a trick. It is something it's a skill that you have to learn. So basically you just need to point out that it's there. Because those that want to will, and those that don't want to will either complain or don't or won't. It's not a compulsory thing to do. Oh, you're here, are you? You need to go and get a coffee for me. You know, you don't want that. You don't want that attitude. That's not what you want. But you want people to feel included, and because they are included and they are part of things. And those people may just send you coffee. So just making it available, making it obvious, it just takes time. And like, in all honesty, it did start out as a bit of a joke here. And I don't know if that'll work for everybody, but over in one of Doug's streams, we were joking about, hey, can you just test that button? And then when I started this channel and brought Buy Me a Coffee over to this channel, it was a little bit of a joke as well. Like, hey, can someone test my Buy Me a Coffee thing to see if it's working? And it became like an ongoing joke for a little while about testing the button out. Like, hey, that button works. But yeah, it's just a case of information. You just need to just be, yeah. Leanne's right here. Leanne has said it took a while for you to be comfortable mentioning it. Yes, it did. I'm the same as you, Susie. I don't want to be salesy, but I also needed people to know it existed, because if you don't tell them it exists, they absolutely can't send you a coffee. So, and you've just written here, some people in my community don't even know what it is. So you just explain what it is. Like, in my description below, I've got some great links to help people out with the softwares that I use and the things I recommend. And one of them explains that this channel is not supported by AdSense or in any way monetized. And the only way you can help out financially with the channel is through Buy Me a Coffee. Now, one of the things I love about Buy Me a Coffee are that it's super easy and you can bring on the screen integrations. You can't on StreamYard yet. Just so you know, you'll need to have a way to celebrate those coffees externally on StreamYard, because on StreamYard you can't bring in overlays. You can't bring in like widgets and things just yet. I'm really hoping that's something that the new guys sort out, because I really want it over there as well. But you can absolutely set up your own overlay image when somebody buys you a coffee, and have your phone in your hand so that you get the message from Buy Me a Coffee when you've got one. and make a big deal of it, because it is a big deal. Like, someone has gone to the effort to go and click a button, put some money in, put their credit card in, whatever it is, however they've made, they give the option, and sent you a coffee. It is a big deal. So make a big deal of it. One of the things that I love to do is, like, I like audio sounds. You can create little GIFs for over on StreamYard. StreamYard allows GIFs. You've got options. You've got some options, but whatever you do, whatever you have happen, let people know it's there. You don't have to, you can make it as just part of your housekeeping at the start and in the middle of your stream. Like, hey, like, while you're in the stream, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, and then down further next time you're doing a little bit, and you can treat it just like a thumbs up message. Don't forget there's a link there for the buy me a coffee. If you want to buy me a coffee and support me in this stream, you can totally do that. And it's just an informational, because you're not trying to sell it. You're just letting them know it's there. It's up to them whether they buy or not. It's not up to you to make them buy. You're just letting them know it's there. And that's something it took me a long time. Leanne's right. I was really uncomfortable with it for a long time. And my other channel's got channel memberships, and it took me ages to set up channel memberships, because I just didn't want to, like, be all, like, in your brain, money grubby. And it's not being money grubby. It's just helping you to, there's gear, like, you have to pay for an internet connection. There's stuff you've got to do. So anything that helps, but you've got to make it possible for them to do it. And so some of the things I like about why I chose Buy Me a Coffee over some of the other options, and some of them all have the same ones. I knew friends who were using it and were having success with it. And so that was one thing. I knew it was legit. 2, they only take 5%. Which I think is great. I've got mine integrated with Stripe to send me money. Stripe take a little percentage as well. So I lose about 10% in total. And that goes from however you've paid into my bank account within a week. And that's pretty quick. So on these Monday live streams, I've usually got the money in my bank account by Wednesday of the same week. It's very quick. Whereas with YouTube, it takes, like, say you did the Buy Me a Coffee now, that would hit, is it next month's? No, because we're already into the next, we're after the 20th. So it would be not next month's, but the month after's AdSense. I think that works. It's time, there's a delay. Whereas with Buy Me a Coffee, it's straight away. The other thing is that I don't get people's PayPal information, which I think is really important. Like, yes, I'll get their email address. Like, I'll be able to see an email address. But other than that, I don't see, like, the email address they used to log, like, unless it's the same email address they used to log into their PayPal. I don't see that information. And so I don't connect that information. So it works for me that way. Let's have a look here in the chat. Let's have a look here. I'm just scrolling back a little bit. Live stream consultants answered it as well. It's really easy. You just let your audience know if they'd like to show their appreciation or just give a tip for the value you gave. Click the Buy Me a Coffee. Absolutely. And that's the thing. You're not selling it. You're just informing them that it's there if they want to do that. Live stream consultant says, I recently commented on a live stream and the mods had to climb in as the chat suddenly turned on me just because of my channel name. I was shocked. Not watching the creator, but it's not his fault. Yeah, that's weird. Like, were you on Amazing Yacht Destinations and that got people piled on? That is odd. That's odd. Okay. Let's have a look here. Community can make or break the streamer. Absolutely. If you're not keeping an eye on your community, then it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard. Here we go. SMA is using Patreon now. I have an on-screen pop-up that shows my social media, including the Patreon, but I've also got a Nightbot timer that shows it randomly. That's right. So it's one of these things. You're just showing them the information. People make their own decisions. Doug says here, make it available, then let people know what to, then let people do what they want to do. It's like memberships. Put it out there and be surprised. Yeah. If you would like to see another way, It's done using PayPal and Patreon checkout. Oh yeah, there's another channel there. Yeah, like there's so many different options. This is just what works with me, or works for me. There's so many choices out there, and you don't have to wait for YouTube at all. Now, in saying that, once YouTube is available, I'll make sure I turn that on too. And I don't know if and I will probably try to move my memberships over to YouTube, just because even though they do take a larger chunk of the pie, there's more integration. Like my channel members here, like Livestream Consultants, Doug, and who was the third one? Oh my gosh. I feel like a terrible human. I feel like a terrible person. Let me just find it. Who is it? Amazing Yacht Destinations. Oh my gosh. Livestream Consultants, Doug, and Amazing Yacht Destinations. These guys all support over on my memberships page over on Buy Me a Coffee. Now, on the Buy Me a Coffee, I was able to set up like standard memberships, but also channel supporter level memberships, so nearly like sponsor level sort of thing. So I had some people asking about being able to sponsor the channel and be able to sponsor live stream. So I made that as easy as possible to be able to do that. So that's why they're there. So but yeah, it's just one of these things, and you just make it available. And so I think I'll still keep it all. I'll just keep it all. There's no reason to turn any of it off. But I like to have all the live conversations in the one place, if at all possible. And I know I multi-stream. Like right now I'm streaming to LinkedIn as well as to YouTube. And being able to multi-stream that is good, but it does break up the conversation. In saying that, I haven't seen any comments from LinkedIn, but I also know that LinkedIn also doesn't always share. So the companies that do the multi-streaming are supposed to have a two-way street, but it doesn't always come back. Let's keep a looking in the chat here. Yeah, look, you know what? It's true. It is true. Livestream Consultants is right. I did have to get hounded is probably the word to set up the Buy Me a Coffee here, because I really didn't think anyone would want it, and I was wrong. And so having that there to give people give people the option to support you. Sometimes that's all you need to do, is make it available so they can support you. Yeah, over on the Fiverific channel, there was a race to see who got to be number one. It was crazy who wanted to support first. It was just, I was shocked. And my perks over on my Fiverific channel, if you want to join as a channel member, nothing. There are no perks. There's no perks other than as a massive thank you for supporting me and for chipping in. There's no perks. Actually, I think I've set one up now. I think there's one now. But when I first started, there were no perks. There were 3 tiers of no perks. You just got to choose at what level you wanted to support me at. And do you know what? I even had people contact me saying, hey, I'm not canceling my Patreon, but I'm also choosing the highest level of perk here as well. And I was just like, what? Why? You're not getting anything. Like, I'm not doing anything. But they want to support you. You have to allow people to support you. Some people will want to do that. And that was, I still don't believe, like, it's hard. It's hard. Oh, Doug, thank you. Yes, I knew it was something like that. So you've got the calendar month of June. So June the 30th ends. That payment will happen in July. So when we get paid, like when we just got paid recently, that payment will hit in July. Okay, I get it. And now anything up until the end of July will hit in August. All right, I've got it. Let's have a look here. Oh, Angelique, it's so good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. Yes, it is evening for you. You've got the overlay. You've got an overlay on the BMAC. Excellent. Oh, look, do you know what? It just happens sometimes. Sometimes my brain, like, I'm not caffeinated enough. You know, my brain doesn't like words. I'm just live streaming here. I don't need to speak. I don't need to use a vocabulary. I just blank totally on something. It happens all the time. I have no excuses. I'll be talking to my husband randomly in the middle of the day. It's not even the morning. And I'll just be like, there's a word for this. There is. And no. Yeah, it happens. LinkedIn has issues with every platform. Yes, it does. It does not like to play, but it wants to be part of the game, but it doesn't like to play. It's definitely one of those things. Let's have a look. It's always a good time with Chantelle. Well, I'm glad you have a good time. That's all my Patreon is right now. No perks, just support, no takers yet. Yeah, look, and this is the catch. Are we all ready for the catch? The catch is some people don't want to leave the platform. And that's why having everything on YouTube is helpful, because you're not asking them to leave a platform to go and put their credit card information in over on another platform that they may or may not be comfortable with. I'm in the process of trying to move my FiberFit community from Facebook over onto Discord, because I'm just finding that being able to set out everything is better, being able to have better threading and better conversations. But so people are so used to being on Facebook that they're just not bringing the conversations over to Discord as much. And I'm not giving up on Discord yet. I actually think Discord is the best place for what we're doing. And so I'm just going to persevere to the point where I'm running a make-along, which is where we all make something together. And it's only on Discord. I'll only be posting my photos on Discord. I will not be posting it over in the Facebook group. So I'm trying really hard to get people over there. And it's new, like I have look, my audience is really broad, but I do have an older end spectrum of my audience, and they especially are not comfortable with Discord. So it just takes education. So we've been, there's a couple of the amazing ladies in our community who are helping people, like jumping on Zoom calls, walking through how to set up their Discord, and it's taking actual minutes out of people's day, but they're doing it to help each other to be over there. But when Facebook first started, it was the same thing. When people tried to get people to join Facebook groups, it was like, oh, I'm not doing that. I'm just here to post things for my family. And now look at Facebook groups. Everything is new until it's not new anymore, and until you adjust to it. So educating your community and educating your audience is just as important as entertaining them. So yeah, I need more tea. I'm getting a very parched throat. Let me know, what are you drinking in your cup? Like, am I the only one who's drinking tea right now? I'm like looking at the time. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so we know that SMA Sky's on Patreon. What's everybody else on? How are you being funded on your creator journey? Is it just YouTube? Have you got AdSense? Are you using Patreon or Ko-Fi or Buy Me a Coffee, or are you sponsorships or paid members only? Like, let me know in the chat. There's a lot of ways. To help make this journey a little bit easier. You've got the mango green tea. That sounds good. Angelique, are you going to Vid Summit? Let me know in the chat. I'm going to Vid Summit. It's my first time. I'll be working because I'm there for work, but I'm really hoping I get a chance to get around and catch everybody. Amazing Yacht Destination says, I'm converted. I am coveted. I'm assuming converted to Discord. Facebook totally lost the plot for me. In my opinion, it's so much better for communities. I 100% agree. Because in Discord, they can see everything. It doesn't matter what's showing up in their feeds. They go to Discord, they go to your Discord page, they can look at everything. There's no trying to find it. Let's have a look here. Angelique says, we don't have any membership, but we have a store that surprises us all of the time. Yeah. Yep. It's just one of those things. Live stream consultant it's dinner time, so it's tacos, French fries, and Diet Coke. Leanne's had her 2 coffees, so now it's water time. Oh, absolutely, Susie. We'll try and I will be there. It'll just be a case of when we can do it. So absolutely. Angelique says, we had tickets, but we aren't going now. We travel so much for our business that we just couldn't fit it in. Yeah, back years ago, it'd be 5 or 6 years ago, I was like doing so much other stuff for my business that I couldn't go to Vid Summit. Like I could afford it, but I couldn't go. And then when all of that kind of went away, I had the time to go, but then I could no longer afford to go. So it's one of those things. So because like I've got to get to the US from Australia, which is very ouchy as well. So this year I am going, and I'm so excited, and it's all new. It's all terrifyingly new. Let's have a look here. Doug says he has, for his channels, he has YouTube memberships, supers, buy me a coffee, merch, and services. Excellent. That is awesome. That's and the thing I love about that, it's really broad. So there should be a touch point for most people. Most people can get in there somewhere. I really need to come up with some merch for this channel. I think it could be fun. It could be fun coming up with some things for that. Travel Around Susie has no support for her channel yet. Okay, just yet, Susie, yet. And that can totally change, and you are building a community, so maybe making it possible that they can jump in. Let's have a look here. As an expat, Thailand has made it very difficult to have funding. There's no Stripe, there's no PayPal. So not motivated to add funding because of it. That is, yeah. Definitely. I didn't really, because I look at Nick Nimmin, and he's got Stripe, and I don't know about Stripe, but I know he's got PayPal, and I know he's got YouTube funding, and he's in Thailand as well. There'd have to be ways around that, right? There'd have to be a way that's legal, not illegal. There'd have to be a legal way for you to be able to set this stuff up. Gosh. We need to set up a way for all of us going to Vid Summit to be able to connect at least once while we're there. Oh, for sure. For sure. There's got to be something like a dinner or lunch or just a meeting point at a certain time. We've got to sort something out. But because I don't know what I'm doing yet, which that should be clarified in the next week or so, hopefully. So, yeah, it's got to be interesting. Angelique said that we actually had to shut supers off because others thought it was required to tip, and we didn't want them to think that. That's interesting. That is interesting. Yeah. I don't know. SMA says I've got some merch on site on one side, but it's just my logo. I need to make more merch and put it in Spreadshirt. And look, you know what? I've got merch that's just my, like I've got like my logo on things, right? Like there's my favorite hoodie. I've got my logo on things, but in saying that, the merch that sells the best, even for me, because I've got like, like I've got little zipper pouches with my logo all over it and coffee cups, and I'm just looking around here, like what else have I got? That's about it. Tote bag. Where is it? It's down here somewhere. Look, here we go. It's a tote bag. Now, in saying that, this is for a yarn crafting channel. These are all things that yarn crafters need. Zipper pouches and tote bags, right? So you need to find something that your audience will use for a start. And secondly, have it so that it's fun and not just your logo. Like I do have a plain just Fibrific logo that never sells. These are the ones that sell because they're a bit more fun. It's a bit different. And so having a think. So now I've got other merch, which I actually don't have any of it of, but over on my other channel, there's this joke where you poke the bear. Like there's things that people say that just set me off. Like, I mean, there's things here as well. I'm definitely that person. So we had this joke where I've got to drag over my soapbox and then stand up on it and have my rant. So I've created this image where it's a soapbox filled with teddy bears and one of them standing up with Poke the Bear written on its shirt. They sell really well, like the stickers and the totes, they sell really well. And it's just because it's something that at this stage, only the community get it, right? Which is fine. But if you have something broader, so anybody who loves astronomy will love your shirt or your bag, whatever it is that you're making. Then if you make that broad enough that anybody who likes that niche, they don't have to know who you are and know who your channel is, but they love the niche and it's fun and quirky or interesting, than having that. Like, you could make a tote that has got like an image of all the different like types of stars, like, you know, quasars and brown giants, or I don't know what anything's called, but you could have all that just listed out there with color pictures, you know, like, you've got options. There's options. Trevor and Sue says, I have merch and BMAC, but I feel weird talking about it. All I can say is, until you start talking about it and make it, it's like live streaming. It's like live streaming. It's just one of these things where it's not going to work until you get comfortable. So when you very first started live streaming, it was uncomfortable talking into the camera to yourself. It'll be the same thing there. Let's have a look here. Can start a Thai company, but that's weird. Okay. I'm not sure how you're going to work around it. I really don't know how you're going to work around the whole Thai government thing. But there's got to be a way. There has to be a way. People work in Thailand all the time. Doug, you're right. It's so cold today. It is. I'm surprised. I'm just checking BOM right now. BOM is Bureau of Meteorology here in Australia. It's 13, feels like 10. It's subtropical. Yesterday at this time it was 20 degrees. It was double the temperature. It's cold. Well, there you go. You've got your clear skies to all. And that won't even just be for astrology, not astrology, astronomy enthusiasts. It'll also be to like anyone who flies. Like that could be really, really cool. Kajabi is great for digital merch, trainings, consultations, and an email list builder, as well as a website builder. Kajabi is great. It's really expensive. So you have to have a bit of income coming in before you get started. So it is good. It is good. So my feed is getting a little sketchy into YouTube. I know my husband's home today. He's probably thought my live stream's finished and gone off and done something. Hopefully not. Let's have a look. Did I miss anyone's comments? Oh, here we go. Angelique says we use Fourth Wall for our merchant store. It shows a QR code for TV viewers, which is really cool. I've been looking at Fourth Wall and I really love some of their merch. I've actually ordered some. Can Do Creator Community uses Fourth Wall for their merch, and I've got a cap coming because I love hats. And so and they've got that they've got embroidered. It's not all just print on demand. There's also embroidery. So yeah, it's really I like the options. I like the options. You tell him to log off. I agree. I agree. Dear. Anyway, we have been going for some time. Does anybody have any more questions for me? I'm just going to quickly just run a little speed test to see what's going on here. Because I've gotten a little message from YouTube that my signal's dropped, like that it's lower than they'd like. So I'm just having a little look. The download is great. Download is always good though. Let's look at the upload, and the upload is fine. It must be something on my end here. I don't know what it is. But that's done. So that's cool. Yeah, I don't know why it does it. It does look a little blocky. Yeah, I've noticed a couple of times actually when I'm using Ecamm, especially, that it changes the bitrate changes. Whereas when I'm using StreamYard, it's just that's the bitrate. And while yes, Ecamm I get a better, crispier image, generally speaking, but whereas with I don't know, it's very interesting. I don't understand it. And you know what? This is one of the things I absolutely love about OBS is you can choose your bitrate. Whereas you can't do that with any of the streaming services. You can choose and you can change your bitrate midstream using OBS. Sorry, when I'm tired, my stutter is particularly awesome. So yeah, there's advantages and disadvantages to everything. Yeah, Ecamm use a variable bitrate based on internet bandwidth. My bandwidth is great. I've got like 40 megabits per second upload. Like, oh, sorry, in Australia, that's phenomenal. Like, you know, it's really good. I don't understand what the problem is. I don't understand what the problem is. Yeah, but anyway, it's just being a crybaby is what it is. And yeah, I can see how a variable bitrate is actually a good thing. Oh, Bandhammer merch. Sorry, yes. All right. I've written it down. We need some Bandhammer merch. Yes, we do. And our wrench shirts. That's right. We want wrench shirts. Now I have found out. I believe at this stage I'll be wearing a work shirt. Like as in a company shirt while I'm at Vid Summit. So, I'm sure everyone's going to find out who I'm working for then. Because I've been kind of keeping it under wraps. It's not that I have to keep it under wraps. I just feel like they're going to fire me and they're going to realize they've made a mistake. Like, no, we made a mistake. Like, we're not keeping her. So wrench shirts and our Bandhammer merch. Yes, we need to get all that sorted. We do. Definitely. All right. Okay, everybody. On this note, with the stream slowly going lower and lower, lower and lower. No, I'm not working for Mr. Beast. I can honestly say that. The stream's getting, the quality's degrading to a point of degradation. I don't know if I'll be able to bring a Bandhammer back, but yes, that would be funny. I'm going to call it for the day. I will see you all here next week, unless something happens in between. Same bad time, same bad station, 7 p.m. Eastern, Sunday night. And I will catch you all then. Hope you have a fantastic week. I hope that something in this stream today clicked with you and made you decide to go out and do something. You know, it's just, sometimes just hearing that we're all going through the same struggles really can help. So I hope that you can go forth and do something new or try again, test something again, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye now.